Welcome to the Fishbowl with everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Mike Honcho and Jalen. We're doing our Louisiana versus App State preview of 2024 here for the latest football game that the Cajuns will play on Saturday. So, big win for the Cajuns last week, fellas. You know, since 1993, and when that game was played in 1993, nobody on this podcast was alive, and that was the last time the Cajuns beat Southern Miss. So,
Somebody was
what y'all
almost
think?
alive.
Wait, what?
We don't want to talk about how old somebody's on this podcast. They were almost alive when that last one happened, but we're not going to name names on the podcast. Somebody's a little bit older on the podcast. But yeah, you're right. Nobody was alive.
Some of us were thoughts, though. I will say that some of us were thoughts on this podcast. So, without further ado, Jalen, Mike, welcome to the show, fellas.
Morning, Chief.
Morning.
What's going on, Chief? What's going on, Mike?
Oh man. So let's talk about the game here, Mike. What were some things that popped out to you with the Cajuns taking on Southern Miss here? What were some key things in that the Cajuns were able to capitalize against Southern Miss?
Well, good thing is Cajuns, I said, finally beat Southern Miss. It seemed like it would never happen. So that was a cool thing to see. Offense seems to kind of be clicking. They keep on being consistent each week, it seems like. The one thing I do realize is, defense only gave up 13 points, but I feel like the defense just still is a big question mark for me, and I wish I could see the Cajuns improve on defense, and I'd feel a little bit more comfortable each week if they could get better on defense.
Jalen, what was something that you think the Cajuns could do, better, or like what's some takeaways from Saturday's matchup in Hattiesburg?
Takeaways, I would say, is great. I would say great offensive play from Ben Wooldridge. The whole offense, he had an efficient 22 of 30. That's great. Draylen Washington kind of resurged coming back from his injury, kind of get back into playing form. He led the way, almost 100 yards rushing, scoring a touchdown. That was great for him. Shout out to Terrence Carter. I know we talked about the beginning where what a weakness the Cajuns might have might be a tight end. He showed up in this game, 7 receptions for 64 yards. He's a top target for Ben. I would say defensively, they played a great game. I mean, when you only give them 13 points, that's good. But but I want to say like Mike was saying, is when you look at the rushing, the total, you would look at it, say 30. They only got Southern Miss only got 37 yards. But if you take away the quarterback getting negative 34 yards, that's still to the halfway point right there at 71 yards total, almost to 100. So I still think they're doing a great job. They could do an even better job also stopping the rush. And 140 yards receiving is not the go-to for the Cajuns. But I know we talked about the pass game, but they have some great players out there. But overall, I think it was a great game.
The defense, they are, and the Cajuns are going to have a little bit tougher to deal with App State because they look at they are 13 balls. But the Cajuns are a good country and running average about 100 a game, passing for them is 304. Defensively, they're 124th against the run and 74th. Overall, compiling it all together for App State, they're 34th on offense in the country and 121st ranked defensively. So if I'm the Cajuns, do what you did basically this week, run the football, and that, worked really well. Draylen Washington, like Jalen was talking about, had a really good game running the football. He is still, a little bit rusty, getting back into, game form and stuff because you're going to have problems like that, getting back from injury. Some guys are a little bit slower to get back from injury than others here. And, it looks like they were kind of taking their time with Draylen Washington. Why rush him back when you got Zylan Perry, who also looked like he had a pretty good game himself, and, Bill Davis, Elijah Davis, basically. So, those three running backs there was no need to really rush, Jalen Washington back, which is why I think that's why they, kind of slow the form. You don't have to get him all back at one time and give him like a big bulk of carries where he could potentially hurt himself and keep for the rest of the season as it keeps going on there. So looking at here, how you think the Cajuns secondary, Mike, stack up against App State's receivers?
Um, Real quick. So I know I gave them hell for defense, and I was on the show last week. And having another week to look at this, as bad as I say the Cajuns are on defense, which they're not. I'm being a little drastic when I stress the bad part. But seeing what Tulane has done the past 2 weeks against the teams they've played, I gotta say kudos to the Cajuns defense on that end because Tulane has been running rampant over teams, scoring 50 plus points past 2 weeks. So for the Cajuns to stop them was pretty good. But as far as secondary wise, I think the Cajuns got a good shot. App State, hasn't been the App State team that we've used to see from years past, and they still got good wide receivers, still got a good quarterback, but I just don't think they're the same team that we're used to seeing at App State. So I think the Cajuns secondary looks pretty good.
Jalen, what you think? How you think? If you're App State, how would you attack the Cajuns?
Oh, I think they would have to just throw the ball. I mean, and like I said, I say this too because I don't think our when you look at the defense as a whole, yes, there's some areas that you need to work on, but also that's just a team as a whole. As an offense, there's stuff to work on. But just talking defensively, if I was App State, I would try to run. I would try to not run. I would pass on the Cajuns because I think the Cajuns are right there stopping the run game. I mean, they're not letting teams just run all over the place. Not quarterbacks, not running backs. But when it comes to the short pass, it's like sometimes they might have mismatch on defense where the receivers do end up getting open for other teams. Like when we saw against, against Tulane, or we saw against a little bit. We saw against Wake Forest prior to the next game after that. So I think for App State to even have a chance in this game, they would have to pass. But even then, I think the secondary is getting better each and every week. Um, yeah, they might have given up 38 points to Wake Forest, but the offense stepped it up and helped them win that game. And then when you look at the game against Southern Miss, you got to give the defense some props. Southern Miss didn't score a point until the third quarter, so you gotta give those guys up front and those guys in the secondary and the linebackers. You got to give them all credit where credit is due. They didn't allow a point until the second half, and that's impressive, even against the Southern Miss team that's not that good.
Yeah, so if you look at Cameron Whitfield for the Cajuns, ended up becoming getting some accolades, today. It was announced that let me see. I'm trying to make sure I get the organization right today.
Oh,
I
Chief, and
can't.
Chief,
Walter
let me
Camp,
add.
Walter
Yeah,
Camp, National Player of the Week. I knew it was a Player of the Week. I didn't know what it was. The organization. It was Walter Camp.
that's
Having
that's that's awesome. But guess what? Also, Kevin Whitfield contributed to
getting sacks.
getting sacks. I'm glad we see we're on the
Yeah.
same page. We're on the same page. Getting sacks, exactly.
Look, it was the first time this year that the Cajuns actually got a sack in a football game. Will they have the same success? Is this something that they can sustain here? So, look, I'm kind of on board with it. I think it was on their mind. It's obviously dragging on you whenever you're trying to get the goal accomplished and you just can't quite get it done. But they've had several instances where they were close to getting sacked, but the quarterback would slip out of their hands. Like against Wake Forest, against Tulane, against Grambling, and against Kennesaw State. They've had opportunities where they slip out of their hands. And they finally were able to capitalize in a big way this past Saturday. So can they do it against App State, Mike? Again, you think they could keep building on this defensive pressure they found on Saturday night?
I think it's going to be one of the keys to winning the game Saturday night. They need to get pressure Saturday night, and I do believe they can have a couple sacks. I think they could try to keep the train rolling. It seems that momentum is surely on the Cajun side. Pull off a win against Wake Forest. Yeah, they're not one of the better teams in the Power Four. We can admit that. But overall, they're supposed to be a bigger, better team than Cajuns. They pull off win there. They beat Southern Miss, a team they hadn't beat since 1993. It just seems like it's all adding up to like the Cajuns just keeping the momentum riding. So I think they could keep it.
So there was I think it's the spread has the Cajuns at 10.5 favorites, 10.5 point favorites. Is that kind of high for y'all or kind of low? What y'all thinking?
I mean, I'll
All
go
right.
off and say it's a little high, but I'm only saying high because I think it's a 3-point victory by the Cajuns. But I'm gonna say it's a little high, just just a little bit.
So you're
Yeah,
going like, hmm.
I got
I'm
I
the
would.
kind of
Cajuns winning this by 3.
Oh, three. Okay, okay.
That's kind of close, kind of closer than I expect. But then again, it is App State.
I about to
I
say App
mean, like,
State pretty much had UL's number for forever.
from like
And like I said,
2014 up until like 2020 when they finally beat them when Napier was there and Boone.
yeah. So I can't sit here and with full confidence, even though this isn't the same App State team that we're used to facing, they're still App State and they still have our number. But I do think the Cajuns can win it, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
I could pretty much piggyback off of that. I don't think it's gonna be a 3-point victory. I think if we're looking at this from the metrics that I'm thinking that the Cajuns offensive line is going to win the battle up front. I think that's a very key point too. Can the offensive line get to that second level, knock those linebackers back, and establish the running game? Because that's what the Cajuns need to do, and they've done it very well over the last couple of years. There's a reason why where the Cajuns are O line U whenever it comes to the Sun Belt because we draft. I mean, we get offensive linemen drafted from the Cajuns here. The pro scouts like drafting Cajun offensive linemen. So um, looking at that there, I don't. I'm kind of agreeing with Vegas, but I might go 7. I'm thinking 7. I don't want to be like, oh, it's got to be a field goal game. But dude, give it up for Kenny, man. Kenny Amadeus. He's been
Absolutely.
like nailing it down for the special teams this year. He's been doing a great job, out there. Hopefully, he keeps it up Saturday when he takes the field for the Cajuns. But that is, we're kind of waiting on the injury report tomorrow. That's going to be released at the press conference and stuff on Wednesday. So, we'll post that and stuff on our, social media pages whenever it gets down to that. But assuming everybody's healthy and assuming that it's all good there, I think the Cajuns have a real good shot at winning this game here. It's going to be one of those games that the Cajuns are going to have like win up front. What you thinking, Jalen?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those games the Cajuns have to win up front, and yes, they need to start start the game off strong, showing how yes we're able to run the ball, and we have great running backs with speed, power, everything. It's you can kind of say they really have a three-headed monster at running back. You really do, and we need to be able to show that off against App State. And as far as this, I mean, this App State team, I mean, you look at the last time we played App State. You remember the last time we played App State, Chief and Mike. It was against it's the same UL, not the same UL team. Back in 2021, when they played for a Sun Belt championship, and I know that was a couple years ago. App State is different. The Cajuns are different, especially the Cajuns now with Desimo as the head man. I know that's different, but at the same time, App State, like Mike said, App State's had the Cajuns numbers for over the years, and it was only recently where the Cajuns started getting these wins. But I think they're going to add another win against App State. I agree with you, Chief. I think it is going to be a 7 point game. I think 3 is kind of like, oh, it's going to be that close, but even 7 is still close too. But I think it's going to be 7. I think it's going to be less than 10. That's projected. But when you look at it too with the Cajuns defensively, I mean, you look like we just talked about Cameron Whitfield. I mean, the Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week, the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, you add him going along with great guys at KCO side, and then you have the secondary who's playing well. I think the defense is going to be ready to play. Their Tulane game kind of was like, oh my God, we should have won. And then they go up there to Wake Forest, beat Wake Forest. They go up there to Southern Miss and beat Southern Miss. So I think those are two straight great road wins the Cajuns got on their belt, and now they get to come back at home in front of the home crowd and beat an App State team that they should beat.
Yeah, it's going to be tough from the Cajuns from here on out. This is, I would say, this is a pretty significant game for them because if they can beat App State, they'll be 5-1. They only need one more game to become bowl eligible. But then the next three games they have on their schedule is Coastal Carolina, that's on the road. You take on Texas State, that's also on the road, and then you got Arkansas State at home on the 9th of November. So, and one of those games is a Tuesday game, so it's going to be they're going to have a 10-day break between Coastal and Texas State. So it's going to be, Texas State ain't no slouch, Coastal isn't a slouch. You're getting to the meat of your conference basically this year. And at the end of that schedule, a very surprising, record for ULM so far. They're 4-1 coming off a win against James Madison. You got to give them their props here. They hit the transfer portal and they got some good quality players coming in over there. So that ain't the same ULM that we're used to expecting to win over. This is going to be a battle come the end there. And Mike and Jalen, we might need to take a little road trip up there to Monroe. What you thinking?
I mean, this ULM team is nothing to play with. They're also 4-1 also in the year. This has probably been the best ULM team we've seen in years, and it's going to be in Monroe. I'm kind of scared for the Cajuns, to be honest with you, Chief.
What you thinking, Mike, about the upcoming schedule? I'm guessing maybe
Mike,
muted.
well, Mike said he need to take some time to really think about it,
No,
Chief, because like you see,
Oh,
oh no, I don't know what
oh,
happened there. No, I normally you'd have to sit back and think this is an easy schedule for the Cajuns in the years past, but I think it's actually I think it's about to be a gauntlet. If the Cajuns survive this one, they really need this win against App State because it just gets harder from here, in my opinion. I don't see any relief on the schedule.
well, let me ask both of y'all this, and we'll start with Mike first, and then we'll go to Jalen. At this is let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, assuming they win against App State, what record y'all think the Cajuns finish with in the last 6 games, and what you think should be the the target one that you actually think they'll actually hit or need to
So
hit?
I'm going to sit here and say right now, you and I for sure have a saying, calling it doing it the ULing, as we might say. Um, we expect the Cajuns to do good. We get our high hopes up, and when things are looking good, the Cajuns just find a way to disappoint. I'm going to say positive.
Wait, what was that, Mike?
I
You cut
think
out the
I
end there.
think the Cajuns can 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 do good. I do still see a possibility of 2 losses this year. Um, and I think two's a pretty solid number. I don't see the Cajuns beating Coastal this year, and I hate to say this, I'm about to choke to death right here. So if y'all hear me choking, just call an ambulance because I'm not making it. I think the Cajuns might actually lose to Monroe this year, and being on the road, being a rival game, this isn't the same Monroe team. I don't I don't know if I like those two matchups. So I see 2 more losses for the Cajuns, but whether it's those 2 teams or not, I don't know. But I think 2 more. And if the Cajuns walk away with only 3 losses on the year, I think that's a huge victory for them.
Jalen, what you thinking?
I mean, it is kind of scary because when you think about it too, I mean, this Monroe team just beat JMU, a team last year who easily would have won the Sun Belt if they were eligible. So it's crazy to think that ULM is really a great team this year in the Sun Belt. Honestly, the 3 games I'm really looking at, and they're all on the road at Coastal, at Texas State, who's not going to be a slouch, at ULM. They're at Coastal and at Texas State back to back. That's going to be a lot. That's even harder than being at Wake Forest at Southern Miss, in my opinion, when it comes to these teams. So this win against App State is crucial. They have to get this win against App State because I just I don't and I want to agree with Mike, and it's like, oh my god, and I don't at the same time. That Coastal game is going to be tough atmosphere. But I will say this: they will lose one of the two, either at Coastal or at Texas State. They'll lose one of those, but I think the rest of the season, even against ULM, I still think they could beat the rest of the teams. They could beat South Al, they could beat Troy. And I think in the last game, even at ULM, they could still beat Monroe.
Look, I'm just gonna say this. Usually, whenever looking at the rest of this schedule, Coastal is gonna be a very tough out. Like y'all both said that. Texas State's gonna be a tough out as well. Both road games. Arkansas State, that's a rivalry game basically in football. The home team usually has the advantage and wins that one. Cajuns are lucky to be home this year. Went up there to Jonesboro last year, got kicked in the teeth, and came back home with our tail between our legs for that one. Um, South Alabama, they've put up some points. We've seen that before. They have been very solid this year. They're better than what their record indicates. In being 2-4, coming off of like a 2 point loss to Arkansas State. The easiest game on this schedule from here on out after App State is Troy. Troy hasn't been the same team that they've been over the years, being back to back defending Sun Belt champions. So they're getting a little bit of drop off here. ULM is going to give it everything they got. This is their playing Louisiana is their biggest game every single year. That is the game they circle on the calendar, being a rivalry game. I know they got some Cajun fans that don't even think that ULM is a rival, but this is why I kept saying over the years that this is a rival, because it takes the right coach at the right time to turn around any kind of program, and they're definitely trending in the right direction. And it's going to be very tough, especially nowadays with the transfer portal and NIL. They're getting all these players to come back to be to ULM is being a very good thing for them. So Monroe's gonna be a tough out this year. Just seeing how it is here. So back to the App State game. Cajun have a 74.1% matchup predictor according to ESPN's analytics. Let me see how it plays out for the rest of them so far this year. Coastal's got the Cajuns only at 42.7%. Texas State, they have the Cajun at 38.9%. Arkansas State, let's see. Cajuns are at 74.1 for that one. South Alabama, Cajuns are at 48.5. So the Troy, Cajuns are at 74.6 of winning it. ULM, they're at the Cajuns are at 63.7. So the two, it looking like it's got the Cajuns losing to South Isle basically, Texas State, and Coastal. That's got the Cajuns losing those three games, which I could very well see happening as well here. So um, yeah, like the rest of the schedule is going to be tough here. We'll come back and reconvene next week and see how this works here. But I think it's time, y'all. So Mike thinking 3 points, Jalen's thinking 7. I'm thinking 7 as well. So let's go to pick some Sunbelt games for this week here. Week 7 game picks here. So let's go back here. So we both picked. We all three think the Cajuns are going to beat App State. Is that correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So Thursday, October the 10th, Coastal Carolina goes on the road to take on James Madison. Who you got in that game, Mike?
So this is gonna be still an interesting matchup, like Chief said, and Jalen even said the James Madison. I sure enough thought was going to run through the Sun Belt, um considering how dominant they've been lately, and to see them get pretty much shut down against Monroe kind of scared me. I think they bounce back and win this game, but I don't have James Madison as high on the podium right now, just because that performance against Monroe. I don't know if they just never made it to Monroe because of how dangerous it is over there, um, or or if Monroe's just that good of a team and we're just underestimating them. So we'll just have to see. But I think James Madison bounces back on this one.
Maybe they kidnapped him and hold him for ransom. What you
Who
thinking,
knows? It's
Jalen?
Monroe.
Oh my goodness. I think I think JMU is going to going to get this win. It's going to be close. Both teams only lost one win. I mean, only lost one win. Only lost one game. I should say. See, you talking about Monroe? Got me talking. Like, let me stop. But only lost one. One only lost one game all year. Both teams. But I think JMU is going to get this one.
Oh man, you know, I'm doubting JMU a little bit. I know Vegas is saying 9.5 points, but I'm disagreeing with both of y'all. Give me the Chanticleers of Coastal. I think that Coastal is playing very well, and we didn't pick very good last week, y'all. For um, just to kind of like
Nah, I
not
know.
break down the mood of the room. We did a terrible job of picking last week. Coastal was coming off a win against the Old Dominion 45-37 win, that is. And I'm thinking that, I mean, the predictor has JMU at 75.5%, but I'm going against it. I think Coastal goes on the road and gets a win by a field goal. I think it's going to be close. So I'm going to skip the Cajuns game here and I'm saying go to Old Dominion versus Georgia State. 1.5 point. Georgia State is the favorite by 1.5. I got Georgia State winning that one. I think a touchdown. What you thinking, Mike?
Georgia State equals national title contender. So I'm gonna go with Georgia State. You know, you beat a team. You beat a powerhouse football team in Vandy. You kind of have the thing to now have to think that Georgia State might have a chance to actually make the national championship this year. Um, all jokes aside, I think Georgia State wins this game, but pretty cool little thing if you think about it. Georgia State beating Vandy and Vandy beating Bama, so it's kind of one of those funny little moments.
We won the Georgia State versus Alabama game ASAP.
We
What
we
you
need the
thinking?
game.
Yeah, this is something that college football is craving for. What you thinking, Jalen?
Yeah, absolutely. They got it craving for Georgia State, but I'm gonna go with Georgia State in this one. Old Dominion only has one win against Bowling Green to go on the year. Georgia State, which is a great impressive win against Vandy. Yeah, Georgia State. I'm gonna go with them in this one.
Uh, Southern Miss going on the road to take on UOM. It's gonna pay me to say this, but I think the 6.5 points. I think UOM is gonna maybe double that. I think a 14-point win for UOM. I just Southern Miss has a lot of problems. Their run defense isn't great at all. Um, you know, and I think UOM takes this one. I don't think it. I think they're going to control the line of scrimmage in this one. What you thinking, Mike?
I think I think this should be a pretty easy win for Monroe. Southern Miss is really missing a lot this year, like you said. I got to go with Monroe winning this one. It pains me to say it, but I got to go with it.
It hurts me deep. What you thinking, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with ULM in this one against Southern Miss. I like you both said. Y'all both said. I don't think it's even going to be close. But I gotta admit, ULM is having a great year, and I think they're going to continue that streak going against Southern Miss.
All right. Looking ahead here to Arkansas State go on the road to take on Texas State. Texas State is 14-point favorites in this one here. Um, Arkansas State coming off a win against South Alabama. Texas State themselves is coming off a win against Troy. They did lose to Sam Houston earlier in the season. So this Texas State team's kind of hard to predict in a way, in my opinion, because when you think they're good, they just fall apart for whatever reason it is, and don't really do what they need to do, and take care of themselves there. But I'm thinking Texas State rights the ship here against Arkansas State. What you thinking, Mike?
I'm going with Texas State to win this game. Like I said, it's kind of weird how they've been inconsistent. Some weeks they're really good, some weeks they're just okay. I think they bounce back and win this one. The game against Troy was a good one, but like I said, they lost to Sam Houston State, which is actually having a pretty good year this year. And it's a real good rival game. But I got Texas State winning this one.
What you thinking, Jalen?
This is going to be a very close game. This honestly could be one of the top Sun Belt games of the week with these two teams. Also, with Texas State like losing to Sam Houston, like you said, who having a great year. They also lost to Arizona State, but barely lost to them. So it's like the two losses are very close. I think Texas State is going to take this one, but I feel like it's going to be closer than people think.
So you're gonna go under.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go under.
Marshall going the road, take on Georgia Southern here. Marshall is 1.5 point favorites on the road here. ESPN Analytics is giving the thumbs up to Georgia Southern by a result of 55.5 to their 44.5%. This one, I think it's a coin flip. I kind of agree with Vegas with the 1.5, but you have to pick one that's going to win by a field goal, basically, or a touchdown, whatever you're thinking. Marshall, both these teams are having good years. I mean, 3-2 is nothing to sneeze at. They coming off a win against App State. They beat Western Michigan before that. Their last loss was Ohio State, and coach was trying to recruit Ohio State players during that time there. So yeah, you gotta love the Sun Belt there. Georgia Southern coming off a win against Georgia State, but their last loss was to number 5 Ole Miss, so that's a very good, high quality loss there. I got Georgia Southern. I think they win by a touchdown. What you thinking, Mike?
I got Marshall. I think Marshall's one of those teams that's surprisingly having a pretty good year this year. I think at the beginning of the year, I think Jay and I both may have said they might be a team to look out for.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And seeing that Marshall, they beat App State again. This isn't the same App State team that's dominated the Sun Belt for a few years. I do still think that it was a good win, and I got Marshall winning this one. I think the Thundering Herd pulled off.
What you thinking, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Thunder and Herd. Also, I still think Marshall is still one of those sleeper teams, as like Mike just said, in the Sun Belt. I think they're going to go on the road and get a win against Georgia Southern.
All right, here. So, I mean, it's been fun, would you say here? So, let's get some closing thoughts here. Mike, what you got to say before we get off the air here?
Go out support the Cajuns Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. So we can't talk about the heat. That's no excuse. It's going to be a good game, I think, Saturday night. It'll be probably the best game I think we'll see the Cajuns play so far this year. The Tulane game had a lot of defensive problems. I think the Cajuns look a lot better than last time we seen them at Cajun Field. I would say come out, support the Cajuns, and just have a fun time. Because as I said, 6:30 kickoff. The weather feels perfect outside right now. I just go Cajuns.
Mike, what you thinking? Not Mike, I mean Jalen.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mike, you got to go again. But
Yes.
How about
all
that?
all jokes aside, but I want to reiterate what Mike said. Yeah, continue to come out to all Cajuns athletics. It was crazy. I was looking at it today, and a certain sport it starts back this month, and I can give it away. You could probably, if you want to attend Cajuns games, go look at the athletic calendar. It'll tell you what sport it is. But still, keep attending all Cajuns athletics. All our sports are doing great, and come out and watch the football team win against App State because we all picked them to win, and I'm pretty sure y'all at home picking them to win also. So.
Media, people like the graphic, the scoring graphic. I'm gonna try to update it during the basketball season, but that's gonna be kind of hard to do itself there to kind of just keep updating it every week. But we'll see where it goes there. But yeah, I think a good game here. I'm bringing my son for his first ever Cajuns football game this weekend, so hopefully, he enjoys it, the sights and the sounds and stuff. So he'll be doing his thing over there. So and it's gonna be a great time. I think the weather is looking really good here. It's so far looking at the channel weather.com high as a 92. Pretty nice out there. It's gonna probably be around 80 some degrees, maybe 70 some. Got a north wind coming that day. So like to say shout out to Heath Morton for giving us great weather this weekend.
Hey, that's what I love to hear.
But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in here to the Fishbowl Radio. Have a great and wonderful night, and we'll see y'all here next time here on the Fishbowl Radio. Have